Now, the federal opposition is pushing for tougher laws on cyberbullying after TV host Charlotte Dawson ended up in hospital after being viciously targeted on Twitter.
But is it possible to stop these internet trolls? So here to tell us more is social media expert Kim McKay and Jackie Manning. Now, Kim, let's talk to you first. Now, what are the repercussions for people doing this online? And also, can you just describe for some of us who are still finding out, what is a troll?
A troll is somebody essentially who's there to cause dissension. They take away from productive work. They've been around the internet for 20 years, since the early days of chat rooms and forums. And they don't look to be going anywhere, unfortunately.
Okay, it seems there's a policy of some people on Twitter to retweet these negative comments, you know, to show that their followers, as in Charlotte's case, her many followers, some of the nasty things that are being said. Do you think that that is a good idea?
I would always sort of talk to my clients that that's never a good idea, because what they're doing is feeding the trolls. And the sort of rule of thumb is to starve them, and they'll go away and find someone else to play with.
So by starve them, you say don't acknowledge,
don't interact at all. And the other thing to think about is the illegality. If some of these tweets are defaming people, by retweeting them, you could also be in trouble for defamation, because each publication of that is considered a separate case.
Jackie, let's move to you. What do you think motivates people to do this, to go on the internet and become a troll?
Look, I think like any bully, there's obviously something else going on in their life. Perhaps they're very angry or feeling powerless at something going on for them, and they're redirecting some of that energy towards people that really don't deserve it and shouldn't be expressed in this way. I think also when you get people on a forum and there's a group of people doing this disgusting behaviour, it desensitises people to the value system or the morals about treating someone in that way. It becomes a bit more normal. Group dynamics are really very interesting area of psychology, and people will often do things that they would never normally do in their daily life.
We've seen the effect, obviously, that cyberbullying has had on Charlotte Dawson this week, and for a lot of people out there, how devastating can cyberbullying be?
Oh, massive. You've got to remember you're catching people in their safe spaces. When I was growing up, if there was schoolyard bullying, you could go home and have a break, recharge, be with your family and loved ones, and get up for battle the next day if you're going through a bullying incident. Now there's no escape. People carry the internet with them all the time, and unfortunately it's quite addictive to check your phone for Twitter and Facebook and updates and things like that. So it's absolutely devastating. People are directing this abuse at other people with feelings and with everything that goes along with being human.
Kim, I think the shock of this whole story for a lot of us out there that know Charlotte, and for some of the media outlets out there that have been promoting this because they know Charlotte as well, is that she's extremely thick-skinned. She's an extremely strong, positive woman who, you know, is trying to stand up to these bullies. But, you know, that can only go so far with these things. So with Facebook and Twitter, I mean, do we really need to toughen up even more on our, you know, on how we face these things?
That's a really great question. I don't think we have to change who we are at all. We just have to change how we interact. Personally, I have rules for social media. So from the minute I sort of went on Twitter, and the celebrities and people I consult to, Charlotte's not one of them, I've not met her, I should say, it's really about what's your brand. And, you know, people might just have their own rules, and one could be don't drink and tweet, or one could be just don't feed the drama. But I think it's really important people have their own set of rules and abide by them.
Yeah, but the important thing here is that, you know, for people watching, hope you're getting onto Twitter or anything like that, you can just block these people. You don't have to confront them.
Yep. I wish we could do that with mobile phones, block some numbers, don't you think? But you can.
But to block someone, you've already received an abusive message, presumably. So you've already seen that message and been affected by that too. Yes. So, yes, you can block further messages.
And I think this is the thing that disturbs me most. I mean, most celebrities, as we've seen this morning on the Today Show, and we saw Georgie discussing it, you know, have at some point been subjected to this. But for a lot of people out there on Twitter, and our viewers watching at home, to all of a sudden to be trolled, that's a very disturbing thing. So what's your advice?
Tell someone is my advice. That's not something they should deal with alone, so they should tell somebody close to them just so they've got an outlet. But there's a huge amount of great online resources, so the government have some great cyberbullying websites, and Reach Out does as well.
I was going to say exactly the same thing. Get support, you're not alone. When people are reading things on their own, they're often reading their tweets and Facebook updates in their bedroom or at home on their own. They're not in a group situation where they're getting that support and backup. So talk to your family, talk to your friends, get some support, and then go through the process of perhaps reporting it.
One more question though, if you're sitting there, and a lot of people out there looking at Charlotte and her, you know, retweeting it, especially retweeting the person from Monash University who's now been, you know, put on suspension, and they'll deal with that internally. But a lot of people saying, well, she's criticises people all the time, you know, she should be able to take that. I mean, is that really the right argument for this?
I don't think anyone's ever up for the kind of abuse that seems to have been directed at Charlotte Dawson, no matter what they've said. I think everyone's free to express an opinion, but do it in a respectful way. Just say, this is what I think. You don't have to be hating on people all the time.
Yes.
Think before you tweet. Think before you get behind a keyboard. If you're keyboarding emotionally and then you press send, you've probably said something you'll regret.
We just need to be nicer, don't we?
Absolutely. Thank you very much,
ladies.
It's a pleasure.